This video will contain spoilers. It has been 2 weeks since my last review. I think this is the longest I've gone without making one. Or if it's not the longest I've gone, it's definitely the most I've seen without making a video. Like, this could be the longest video I make of nothing but reviews. I think this all started because of something that happened at work a while back. Like, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, and I considered making a video on it, but I've decided not to. I haven't really mentioned work since, like, October or something like that. Maybe I'll make the video, maybe I won't, I don't know. The problem is that it's a new job. Like, I've been working there for a month and a half, and I feel like with every job at work that there's always a sort of grace period where it all seems utopian, like it seems like it's the best job ever. And I'm not gonna quit or anything like that, but eventually the mask sort of slips and it becomes absolute hell. I'm just waiting to see if and when that happens. Anyway, normally, if a video will have spoilers in it, I would do those first, but I'm not going to for this, and I'll explain why when I get to it. Final Destination 3. Mixed ratings. I watched it on Netflix, directed by James Wong, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Amanda Crew, Tony Todd. Devon Sawa does not appear in the film, nor does Ellie Larder. Todd Wagner doesn't appear in the film. Val Lewton doesn't appear in the film. Terry Cheney doesn't appear in the film. George Wagner does not appear in the film. Agent Shrek does not appear in the film. Sean William Scott does not appear in the film. Oops. It's all like photos and shit, because something that this film does that the rest of them, like 4, 5, I don't think 6 does it, but maybe, is, or, well, 5 doesn't, but I'll get that later. But then really it's just 4. I think, as I said in my FD2 review, the fact that they made it so connected, the FD1, means that you can't make FD3, because either you can make a connection, but then you're going to run out of ideas. You're just going to be grasping at straws to find some sort of connection between the characters in FD3 and the characters in FD2/1. You can do that, or you can not have a connection, but then it's just kind of jarring. And this film does feel like it's separate from 1 and 2, because yeah, Tony Todd is in it, but he doesn't play Bloodworth. He is a narrator on the roller coaster, and he also was on the train. Like, that's it. I think the kills are cool, but something I don't think I mentioned in my FD2 review, but I should have, was the fact that I don't like how they changed it. Like, if you look at Doctor Who, regeneration changes, and I get that, the first regeneration was in the 60s, and the most recent regeneration was a month ago. So obviously, yeah, the effects and shit have gotten better, but they've changed it so much. I feel like when Christopher Eccleston regenerated, that's how they should have kept it. It's simple. You have the orange glow coming out of the face and the hands, and after a couple of seconds, they change, and that's it. But then with David Tennant's, he regenerated so hard that it caused the TARDIS to crash, and then Matt Smith also, he didn't regenerate hard. It was just like boom, and that's it. But that also caused the TARDIS to crash because they just want an excuse to make a new TARDIS. Um, Peter regenerated so hard that it caused the TARDIS to crash. And they also changed it a little bit because it just seemed like it was stronger or something. Like, they changed the effect, and it's not just it looks more realistic or it looks better, it's just the scale of it is bigger. And then with Jodie, it was even bigger. And it's just, I don't think I'd keep changing it. It's the same for FD because, you know, all you really had in FD1 was the premonition. And then some like weird coincidence type things will happen, like a newspaper will be shredded and he will see the letters TOD, so he knows that Todd is gonna die. But then FD2, Kimberly has the premonition, and then later on, she she has the hallucination about drowning and the hallucination about that doctor. And with this doesn't do it. Thank God. Like, all they introduce something new, but it doesn't seem like they're updating anything or anything like that because you have the pictures, and I think that's pretty good. It's nice. I think the performances in the film are good. The kills are very good. Do I think that she survived the train crash? No. I think there's a confirmation in Bloodlines, but I'm not too sure. The only person that has survived is Kimberly Corman and Officer Burke from FD2. I don't think there's been anything to confirm that they've died. Anyway, I get that this film has a sort of iconic status. Like, it's not as iconic as, let's say, FD2 is the most iconic because of the premonition scene in the logs and all that. Like, that traumatized an entire generation. But like, FD3 gets a lot of praise, and don't get me wrong, I like it. It's a pretty good film, but it's just, I don't think it's as good as FD2. Everyone seems to hate FD2, and I don't get why. I think that's all I have to say. The Final Destination. Universally negative ratings. Not on Netflix. Nick Zano, Chantal Van Zanten. Oh, this was directed by David R. Ellis. He also did FD2. Richard T. Jones, apparently. This is the last one I watched. I watched it in a terrible order. I watched FD1, 2, 6, 3, 5, 4. The reason for that ordering is I wanted to watch 1 because if I liked that, I was going to go see 6. And then I thought, fuck it, I'll watch 2 as well because I liked 1. And then eventually I went to see 6. And then I watched 3. And the only reason why I watched 5 before 4 is because 4 isn't on Netflix. And the only reason why I can think of why they wouldn't put that on is because everyone hates this film. Like, it is a universally panned film. And I can kind of see why. People talk shit about the wrong things. Like, hold on. people say there's too much comedy in the film. There isn't. I'll explain more in the FT5 review, but this film has like an average amount of comedy. Excuse me. People don't like the premonition scene, which I don't understand. I think it's a very good scene. Really, the only thing that's kind of off about it is the fact that he doesn't panic, whereas everyone else does. Although they do kind of, what would be the word? Kind of replace it with him gripping Laurie's thigh, which I think, as long as there's something, it's fine. People complain about the fact that that racist man died, and people are like, oh, so what? Death is anti-racist. Like, just calm. There is an irony to death. Like, I can't think of an example, but there have been moments of irony in the other films, and this is just an example of it. Even though it isn't really all that FD, because you can see it coming and it's not like some big coincidence, that girl who technically survived the disaster, but she did die during the disaster, so I don't know if that counts or not. You see the entire comment and I think that's cool, but it's not FD to do it that way. I hate the fact that they sort of talk about 3D movies like it is the next big thing, and I do get that that's what the theory was at the time, but just watching this now, fuck off, 3D sucks. Maybe if they improve the technology in 10 or 20 years, it'll be good, but for now, it just sucks. Also, I like the X-ray credits and the X-ray end. Also, what the fuck was up with that bathtub scene? Like, when everyone was talking shit about FD4 before I seen it, I was thinking, like, maybe the kills are too out there. Like, they don't make sense, and the bathtub one was what I had in my head, but that's really the only one that doesn't really make all that sense. The rest make sense, but it's just, the problem with the scene with the bathtub is it just doesn't seem real. Like, I don't know how American hospitals operate in 2009, but I don't think that they would harness someone and bring like a fucking pool into their room and give them a bath in the pool. Especially if, like, your floor is so weak that just filling the tub is enough to, like, break the fucking floor. It's too out there. Whereas some of the other shit isn't. And that's how everything's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be out there. I mean, I get that it always is, but it's not as out there as this. Final Destination 5. Universally negative ratings. I watched it on Netflix. Tony Todd. I keep on getting this Miles Fisher guy confused with Miles Smith, that singer. And I think there's another guy called Miles that was in Sinners, but I can't remember his last name. Nicholas D'Augusto. Once again, Devon Sawa is not in the film. Val Lewton is not in the film. Jodie Balfour, apparently. Courtney B. Vance. That is something I should mention. The thing about Val and Evan Sawa is the fact that this film's a prequel to FD5, and the way they've done it, well, I think it's great. It's kind of it's sus because this is written by the same guy that wrote the remake of The Thing. Both those films came out in 2011, and they both have the same ending, where it ties back to the original. It's a prequel to the original, like directly. And for one film to do it would be fine, but for both, like, it's not a coincidence. Like, you're just a shit writer. Oh, I'm going to reboot this thing and I'm going to lead it back to the original, and everyone's going to call me genius. But anyway. People say FD4 was, like, too comedic, and they actually said that with FD5, the goal was to make it as dark as FD1. Well, you fucking failed, because this one is the most humorous. Like, what's this guy's name? PJ Burns' character he's really fucking funny. He's constantly joking all the time. And even, it's not just him, like, there are other people joking around and shit. So, like, I don't get it. FD4 is not a funny movie. This is a funny movie. So, there was also someone that was talking shit about Nicholas, because he's discount Nick from FD4. No, Nick from FD4 is discount Nicholas. Like, I went into FD4 thinking this guy's gonna be shit, but I actually kind of like Nick. And as for, what's this guy's character's name? Sam. Completely different people. Like, yeah, one looks like a handsome 20-year-old, and one looks like a handsome 30-year-old. Like, that's the only similarity. They're both handsome, and that's about it. Actually, here's an example of the irony, and I get that this wasn't intentional. It's just because PJ Byrne improvised, but the scene where he dies, he rubs Buddha's belly like a fucking Buddha statue, and he's like, slow down on the rice cakes. And then the way he dies is that statue falls on top of his head. That is irony. No one complained about it. But people complain about the racist death for being ironic in FD4. So, while FD4 is easily the worst film in the franchise, the hate for it is unjustified. Like, if you're going to hate on something, be correct. Don't just make shit up. I think the problem with having this film lead back into the first one is that it kind of seems like there's a pattern. Like, what if FD5 never happened? Like, say either Sam and everyone else died on the bridge collapse, or they survived but they didn't go on Flight 180. Would Flight 180 still blow up? Because it's the same thing with having FD2 connect to FD1. If you're going to have FD5 cause FD1 and then FD1 cause FD2, why doesn't FD2 cause FD3 and FD3 cause FD4? Like, I find it weird that Death is willing to cause a fucking, like, hundreds of people to die just to kill one person. I'm not a fan of that. It's not good. Final Destination Bloodlines. I've just realized I forgot to mention something about FD5. The first post-disaster death in the film is one where Miles Fisher's character's girlfriend is doing some gymnastics and she gets temporarily blinded, which causes her to fuck up a jump. She's a gymnast, if I didn't mention that, by the way. And she lands wrong and she, like, folds in half, but in the wrong way, like legs on top of her. I can't really describe it. You're better off just watching it yourself. Um, that was what put me off FD. The story behind it is that there's a song called Intermission by Blur. I might have mentioned this already in my FD1 and 2 review, but fucking here we go again. That song was used in the scene in Baby Driver where Jamie Foxx's character dies. But I didn't know that at the time because I wasn't a fan of Blur when I seen Baby Driver. And then I saw that scene on YouTube and I was like, holy shit, it's Intermission by Blur. I love that song. And it's so fitting because Edgar Wright's a fucking genius. And then, just like in the recommended section on that video, was the scene where that character dies in FD5 and use that intermission. Don't get me wrong, the use of it is fucking amazing, like it's great. But it's just, it creeped me out, it's put me off. But anyway, on the FD6, Tony Todd, Breck Bassinger. That's, I forgot to mention about FD4. Why is Bloodworth just not in it at all? Like, once again, even less of a connection to the others than FD3. And it doesn't make sense. It's too inconsistent. But anyway, I'm glad that we see the origins of Bloodworth, especially with the fact that Tony Todd is dead. Like, there's no chance of him appearing in FD7. I hope they don't recast him like I hope. Because they already said in FD6 that he has cancer. Terminal cancer. So, you know, he's dead. Hopefully they don't bring him back. And it was done really well. It's like such fucking grace. And once again, I've got to mention something by FD5. There was a video that the producer, Craig Perry, he went over each individual death in the film and just talked about it. And he said about the bridge disaster in FD5, they were creeping into disaster movie territory, but they did it with such grace that he thinks that it worked well, and I agree with him 100%. He was also like trying to defend shit in FD4, but I disagree with him on that. Anyway, back to FD6. Yeah, they handled Bloodworth's final scene with such grace, and letting Tony Todd speak from the heart to the audience, that was just, is amazing. The kills are great. It's been so long since I've seen this film, so it's hard to talk about it. I love how they do like a sort of fake out ending, which, yeah, the others have kind of done it, like FD4 did it, FD3, FD5, but I think this one was especially great because with FD3, it's left open-ended, and even though an open-ended ending is great, it just wasn't done the greatest, I don't think. With 4, they had the X-ray thing, which was cool, but it's just you don't see the death. And then with FD5, yeah, you can see the death, but it's just the whole thing of, like, the connection to 180. FD6, you see it? It's brutal. It's great. I'm glad that they didn't do CGI or anything like that. Like 100% or at least 99% practical effects, and it looks amazing. Looks real. Feels real. It's just. This I might have mentioned this in a previous review, but the app for the cinema has updated, which means now instead of it just taking you to the website where you buy the ticket for whatever you want to see, you actually can buy it through the app. And I give you like statistics on how many films you've seen, the total runtime of every film you've seen, like combined and all that. And there's an ordered history that I can go through, which means I'm not missing out on any films. And then when it comes to things I've seen outside the cinema, it's not much. It was just the Final Destination films, something that's coming up soon, and then there'll be like games and shit. And I should write these games down because I've written down things here anyway, and I've just deleted it. Shit. Give me a minute. Elio, universally positive ratings. I watched it in cinema. Sorry about that. Zoe Saldana, Camila Jamil, is Shirley is that Moaning Myrtle? It is. Kate Mulgrew. I think getting Kate Mulgrew to do the narration on that space thing with the Voyager, while it's nice, it's a little too on the nose. For those not in the know, Kate Mulgrew starred in Star Trek Voyager, and maybe there's like more background to it than that, but it's just, she starred in Voyager, so in this film she's talking about Voyager. Wow. Anyway, when I was going into the film, I thought, why the fuck did I do this to myself? Because I mean, like, when I was a kid, the only Disney movies I watched were Aladdin and The Jungle Book on repeat over and over and over. I had never seen The Lion King until last year. I had never seen The Little Mermaid ever. A bunch of others I just have not seen. And I think maybe that, like, subconsciously I brought myself to watch this because, I missed out on those, and yeah, I can easily access them on Disney. But hey, I can watch these new ones. I get that Elio was a Pixar film. Pixar, don't know why I pronounced it with an E. But even then, I missed out on a bunch of Pixar films, which may or may not be good. Like, the last one I seen was, technically it was Inside Out, but I wasn't really paying attention because it was like, at the time that film came out, I was 10 or 11. I was thinking, oh, I'm edgy. I'm too old for this kid stuff. So I sort of, I thought I was rebelling, but I wasn't. I can't remember what the last thing I seen was. The only thing I can think of is Wreck-It Ralph. If that's a Pixar film, it could be like main Disney. I'm not sure. Woman knows. My I wouldn't say worries, but the film is fucking amazing. Like, I thought it might be pretty good. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is. Like, god damn. It's very hopeful. There is a scene in the film where Elio and his aunt, I think she is, they're trying to go from Earth to that ship, and they're in the middle of like a debris field. I don't think it's asteroids, it's like other things, and they get in contact with a guy on a ham radio, and they get in contact with someone else, and he helps them like calculate all the shit in order to move out of the way. But then people all over the world start to join in, and it's like it's so fucking powerful. It's like the scene in Amazing Spider-Man 1 where he gets shot and all the crane guys help him get to where the lizard is. Like they move their cranes so that he can web onto all of them and just swing straight to wherever the lizard is. It's like that, but on a planetary scale, and it's amazing. The jokes, I think some of them are quite. Again, this is stupid to say because it's literally a kids' film, but it's kind of too childish. But some of it is funny. I like Gordon. I think he's really funny. This scene, like every scene at the camp, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but like the animation of the whole film is good, but like they really stepped it up for the camp. Like it looks so good. I don't know what it is. It's like if you look like how the first three Uncharted games look, and then how 4 looks, it has like a sort of darker look to it. Kind of like Man of Steel, I guess. That's what the scenes at the camp are like, and it's amazing. Um, I thought they were gonna fuck up on like the the film isn't supposed to be educational, but because it's a kids' film, it is possible to write something in the wrong way, and it teaches kids the wrong lesson. Because even though it's not supposed to be an educational film, kids will still come out of the film having learned something. Um, and it's very easy to make them learn the wrong thing. Like, I was thinking of something while I was watching the film, and to be clear, I was watching the film only yesterday. But I can't remember what I was thinking of now. I was thinking they could end this film with Elio just having fucked off onto the ship, and his aunt is just left there on her own with nothing really. Well, technically there's the DNA clone, but it's not the same, and she knows it's not the same. I'm glad they did that whole thing because it kind of shows how there is a lot of themes of parenthood in the film, and I think that's great. Just like you can't trick a parent or a parent figure. That's amazing. But you know, they could just end it with him fucking off, and it would just. I can't think of what the message of that would be, but it's just kids are going to walk out of it having the wrong idea. The way they ended it is great, where it's bye for now. It's not bye forever. That is spot on. Like, very, very narrow gap, and they fit through it like a glove. How to Train Your Dragon 2010. Universally positive rating. Whoops. Did Chris Sanders direct this, or was it just Dean DeBlois? I can't even tell. Sorry if I pronounced Dean's last name wrong. Anyway, starring Jay Baruchel, J.R. Butler, America Fiera, Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig, Craig Ferguson, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, T.J. Miller, David Tennant. Cate Blanchett doesn't appear until the second film, as far as I know. Robin Atkin Downes. Maybe Samuel L. Jackson is in the sequels, I'm not too sure. You heard me right. I had not seen How to Train Your Dragon until recently. I don't know why I hadn't seen it, I just hadn't. It could just be because it was released in 2010. At the time, all I was doing was watching Aladdin, and then watching Jungle Book, and then watching Aladdin, and over, and over, and over. But this film, yeah, it's great. The only thing that confuses me is, one, how do you make a sequel? Like, you know, the film had a really good ending. It is an ending. They don't set up anything, so I just don't understand how they could make a sequel, because the reason why the dragons were hostile were because of the big dragon. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I'm gonna call it the big dragon. But or the boss, just because that's quicker. The boss is dead. The dragons aren't hostile anymore, so unless they're gonna do like some sort of thing where it's the humans that are hostile in the second film. But the problem with that is that this is a kids' film. This isn't like a zombie film. I'll explain what I mean by that in the 28 Years Later review later on in this video. So, I just don't understand how there could be a sequel and how, according to both Binman and Dylan, it is the best of the trilogy. This film is a perfect example of getting a cast who were famous at the time, but because they took so long to make sequels, like, there's a 4-year difference between this film and the second, and then a 5-year difference between the second and the third. Some people weren't famous by the time the third film came out, like Christopher Mintz-Plasse. What the fuck has he done? He did Superbad, he did Kick-Ass, he did this, he did that Far Cry 3 thing. He starred in a show called The Great Indoors, which only lasted one season, and that was 10 years ago. What has he done since, other than How to Train Your Dragon Free? It's just weird to think about. And then Jay Baruchel, like, he did this at the end. He did Blackberry recently. What else? Anyway. It's kind of hard to talk about this film because, one, I seen it so long ago, and two, everything I have to say is, it's all about the remake, not this. Fuck it, I'm moving on. How to Train Your Dragon 2025. Universally positive ratings. Directed by Dean DeBlois. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I seen it in cinema with Binman, Mason Thames, Nico Parker, Jar Butler, Julian Dennison, Nick Frost. I had a feeling that that guy was Murray MacArthur. Pete Serafino, Finowicks, fucking Welsh names, am I right? Mason Thames is perfect casting. Like, he looks and sounds like Hiccup so much, it is crazy. As for Nico Parker, I have a feeling that part of the reason why they cast a mixed race woman as Astrid is because she was voiced by America Ferrera in the original. And like, I don't know, there's something about Astrid in the original that I didn't like, whereas in this, she is a complete badass, like, genuinely. Seeing Nico in this film makes me want, like, I want Hollywood to make an action film starring her. That's all I want. I don't care what else to do with it, as long as we get an action film with her as the main character, like something on the same wavelength as, like, I don't even know, Peppermint, I guess. Jared Butler's performance in the film isn't as good as it is in the original. I don't know if it's a case of, like, I mean, it's weird because I seen the original literally only a couple of hours before I seen the remake, so it's both a good thing and a bad thing because it's easier to compare, but then at the same time, I'm obviously not going to enjoy this film as much, and it did make me think. And I've fought this before, but I haven't fought it on the same like level that I had until I seen this. This is a mostly accurate remake. It's like, let's just call it 99% accurate. Like, the problem with the scenes that aren't accurate is that it's accurate. You're just making the same thing again. Especially because it's the same director, it just kind of seems soulless and a cash grab. But then the things that they add, like why would you change all that? You know, like the Last of Us show is a really good example. Now, to be clear, I'm only on the episode where Joel dies. I have not seen episodes 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 of season 2. But I've heard the things that have happened. I've seen the memes and all that. Say what you will about the game, but the scene where Dina reveals that she's pregnant, and Ellie was like, you know, why didn't you say that earlier? And Dina says, oh, I didn't want to be a burden. And Ellie says, well, you've just made yourself even more of a burden because of that. But then they changed it in the show so that Ellie's happy for some reason, and like they have sex, and she says, "Oh, I'm gonna be a dad." One, that's such a weird reaction to that news, and two, just it doesn't make sense. But back to How to Dragon. Gillian Dennison, I think, did a really good job. Um, Nick Frost, he's good, but I was hoping for him to do a Scottish accent in the film, which he didn't do. That's another thing about the original. It's weird how you have Craig Ferguson, Gerard Butler, and David Tennant doing Scottish accents, but then everyone else is American. Anyway, speaking of everyone else, Rough Nut and Tough Nut. What is up with them? It's kind of weird. Like, Tough Nut was voiced by T.J. Miller in the original. As much as I fucking hate T.J. Miller, like he's it's weird going from him to just some zesty guy. That's all I really have to say. Tornado, universally negative ratings. I watched it in cinema. Tim Roth, Jack London. This film is what The Surfer should have been. Um, Part of the reason why I thought that is because of a connection that both those films have to me in particular. Because I I seen The Surfer a couple days or maybe the day before I started work, and if I seen it any other day, it still would have been a very, very shit film. But it's just, it pissed me off so much because this last couple of hours of freedom before I start work, and it's being wasted on this. And what happens with Tornado is, if I make a full video about this, then all the details will be there. But I'm just gonna give a brief recap as I can. Um, I fucked up in work, and um, like it was so bad that I thought that I would have been fired, or there would have been some sort of action taken against me. And a little bit later, I got an email where they asked me, "Do you want to do more shadowing?" Um, and what I thought they meant by that was, Do you want someone to come with you on your shift tomorrow and show you the ropes? Or, like that, or, sorry, that, don't know why I said or. But that's what I thought they meant. But it turns out what they meant was, do you want to pick up an additional shift? And so instead of someone coming on my shift, I'm coming on someone else's shift. And the problem with that is that I was already supposed to work on Saturday. The way that my work works is that you have 4 different calls. You have morning, lunch, dinner, and bed. I was already supposed to do the dinner and bed calls, but because I said yes to this, they put me on for morning and lunch on top of that, which means I've been working a full day, which is 15 hours, and I do get breaks in between. But I really don't want to fucking do that, especially since I was going to go watch a film, and I wouldn't have had any time to myself after the film ended. I would have to go immediately to bed. So I spent the whole film panicking that, oh shit, I need to go to bed ASAP and go to work and work for 15 hours. Well, it's more like 10 hours, but you know. It was settled. I didn't have to go to work for those first 2 calls. Um, some people were pissed at me, but nothing else happened. So, anyway. Part of what makes this like The Surfer is the fact that, what I was hoping that film would have been was that, Nicolas Cage's character just gets pushed and pushed and pushed until he falls off the edge, goes crazy, and murders them all. Which they deserve, because they're all cunts. But it didn't happen. And in this, Tornado is hiding and running and running and running. Everyone dies around her, like literally everyone dies. And then eventually she decides, I can't run anymore. Because they will catch me eventually. I've just escaped through sheer luck. So I need to actually do something. So she kills them all. And it's amazing. It's a pretty good film. I don't get the hate for it. That's all there really is to say. 28 years later, universally positive ratings. I watched it in cinema with Ginger, Dylan, and Dylan's girlfriend. Directed by Danny Boyle. Jodie Comer, Ralph Fiennes, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jack O'Connell. Going into this film, I heard that there would have been ninjas in the film. Like some guy was like, "Oh, I just came out of 28 years later," and he was all hysterical. And eventually he was like, "Yeah, this video was spoiler free. There's ninjas in the film," and then it just ends. And then, literally a couple seconds before it started, I told that to Ginger, and Ginger told me, "Yeah, I heard there's something about Jimmy Savile in the film." It's like, the fuck? Okay. It's gonna be hard to talk about this film, because really everything I have to talk about has been talked about before. Whether it be in memes or just people actually, really talking about it. There's a bit in the trailer where I didn't know what it was at the time, but I know now that it was the reading of a poem. And it's a bunch of numbers, and it's like marching up the hill, and it sound like it adds something to the trailer. It's like when restaurants will, if you order a dessert, they will spread some sauce all over the plate just to decorate it. That's what that's like in the trailer. In the film, I mean, now that I know the context of it, it makes sense. But when I seen it in the film, I was like, you've just added that for the sake of adding it. Oh, look how unique we are because we're so fucking random. But Anyway, um, don't get me wrong. The film is random and is saying, "Oh, look how unique we are." You know, we're better than insert zombie movie here because look how unique we are. When it's just randomness. Like it's not. It's style over substance is what it is. Like who the fuck let Alex Garland write? But moving on. Just get this out of the way. Um, Zombie with the massive dick. I thought that. Excuse me. They just cast a guy, and he just so happened to have a big dick. But no, because they were filming with a child, that man wasn't actually allowed to get his dick out. They had to use a prosthetic, which is even worse because if it were a coincidence, that'd be fine. But you intentionally did that, and then you called him the fucking alpha. Like it just feels like Alex had that song "Animals" by Maroon 5 in his head while he was writing it. Like the man just looks, and in the case of this film, acts like a fucking cuck. The film ends with Alfie, or not Alfie, that's the actor's name, Spike, fucking off. For no particular reason. And then he gets cornered, and the zombie's ready to catch up to him. He's gonna die. But then you hear Cillian Murphy say some words. I don't remember what the words in particular were. Excuse me. That's a fake out. It's Cillian Murphy's voice. Like they reused audio from 28 Days, but really it's Jack O'Connell in a bright colored tracksuit and long blonde / white hair. And it took me a second to put it together, but holy shit. That's Jimmy Savile. And there are a couple of people dressed up as Jimmy Savile. They're all wearing like green and purple and blue tracksuits, and they've got like blonde / white wigs on, and they're all called Jimmy. And I thought, oh fuck, because Spike, he's a child. And then the film ends, and I thought, like, what the fuck was that? But then I remembered they're making a sequel because even though 28 years later is supposed to be the end of the 28th trilogy, 28 years is the start of its own trilogy. We're getting a sequel next year called The Bone Temple, and then we're getting a fair film sometime after that. This film did not need to be a trilogy. It could have been one film. They could have just ended it with Spike coming back with the child and returning home, and that would have been it. And it would have been a good film, but a very, very unnecessary one. But no, we have to have sequels because Alex wants money. This film doesn't deserve praise. It is quite a generic film. And when you really think about it, 28 Days isn't all that much different. Because, like, when you think of things to defend 28 Days, really the only thing you can think of is the fact that there is a villain in the film and it's a human. And you could say that, oh, it's about the how the humans are actually worse than the zombies, because the zombies, they can't control what they do, but the humans can, and a lot of the humans are evil. That's not unique. The Walking Dead has done that. The Last of Us has done that. There have been so many zombie or zombie-like things that have done that. It's been done before. It's been done after. It's not unique. Don't get me wrong. I love 28 Days. It's a great film, but it's not unique. I don't know about weeks because I haven't seen it, and years is just decent. Should have been one film, and it should just be forgotten about as soon as you leave the cinema. I was just scrolling for a background. God damn. Sign me up. Where do I pay? Um, I was looking back at the past couple reviews I did just to make sure that I hadn't done this. And if I had, I didn't put it in the title or the description. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it in the title or the description if there's no space, just so that it's official. Middle and end review, Robocop Rogue City. I don't get why I didn't do the review for this, because I played this before I played Yakuza 6, but I did the beginning review of Yakuza 6, so I don't understand. The game is great. It really blew me away. But as it went on, I encountered some problems, and it got worse and worse as it went on. I've already uploaded these as glitch videos, but for a recap, there was an audio glitch where the audio wouldn't be synced up, and as I played, it got worse and worse. Like, the delay was bigger and bigger. There was another glitch where on one particular mission, you breach a warehouse and kill everyone. Um, but I instantly died to something. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Like, it could be there was an enemy with some sort of gun that does that. I'm not too sure. To be clear, I wasn't playing on like a hard difficulty. It was like normal or something. Um, but when I respawned, the option to breach the door was gone, so I had to restart the checkpoint or the save or whatever. And then I got back to that bit, breached, killed some people, died instantly again, and it happened again. So I had to restart it again. Um, but oh shit, whoops. I obviously I did beat it. There might have been some other things. It's been so long I can't remember. So I'm just gonna have to end it there. I've pre-ordered the DLC. Update review: the Critical Role crossover with AC Shadows. Why the fuck is there a Critical Role crossover? As far as I know, Critical Role is just a show where some of like the big voice actors, like Ashley Johnson, Matt Mercer, all those, they play Dungeons and Dragons. So it's not like a fictional show. It's I guess you could call it a game show. Why is a game show doing a crossover with a game? Like, you wouldn't see like the Chase crossover with, I don't know, Yakuza. But I even though I don't know who that guy is, it's nice to have a professional in the game rather than all these non-professionals that are in it. Um, I wouldn't call it a Critical Role crossover. I'm only calling it that because that's the official thing for it. But it's like, it's just one guy. It's not all of them. I was kind of hoping maybe like, oh, one of the targets you need to take down is Ashley Johnson, another is Laura Bailey, Matt Mercer, Troy Baker, whoever else is a member. Thank fuck Aaron Hansen isn't there, because Aaron Hansen is not a real voice actor. He's a YouTuber. Um, like, it was decent, but it wasn't like, I'd kept the game on my PlayStation from whenever I did the interview and all that until now, just for that. Because I knew I figured like, oh, it's coming in June. We're not too far away from June, so at most it's like a month I have to wait, and then I'll delete it. And then we've got DLCs coming out, but they won't be coming out for a while. Moving on, middle and end review. Yakuza 6. I feel like it's a pretty good finale, but it's not as good as Yakuza 5 in terms of like a finale. I don't like the fact. I don't know. It feels like I've mentioned this, but I didn't see any medical and end review for Yakuza 6 on my channel, so I don't know how I could have mentioned it before. It's weird. But even though it's just a post credit, I'm glad that they did actually bring back Majima and Sajima and Daigo, I guess. The fact that it's just Akiyama, and even then it only appears for like 2 chapters, that is kind of nice, because it means that it's just Kiryu on his own. Yes, he has the new guys, but they're new, so it doesn't really count all that much. Like it's not like it's gonna be like, we are the Yakuza 6, because there's 6 of us and it's Yakuza 6, whereas Yakuza 4 is Yakuza 4 and there's 4 of them, and Yakuza 5 is Yakuza 5 and there's 5 of them. There's nothing like that in this. You just play as Kiryu. I like the fact that the sub stories are really voice acted. I like that there's not as many. There's no more friendships or anything like that. I got out my comfort zone with the Yakuza games a bit, because there were some things that in previous games I wouldn't do if they were in the previous games, like the spearfishing and the bar thing in Onomichi. Speaking of, I like Onomichi. A really nice place, very small, which is good. Jesus Christ, it's been off for an hour. I'm glad that they shown that Kiri faked his death in this. I knew that there would have been something like that, because I'm playing the game after they released Man Who Erased His Name. I know that Man Who Erased His Name is about Kiryu. So I knew he wasn't dead. I just didn't know if they were going to reveal that he was still alive in this, or wait until then to do it. I'm glad they did it in this. I can't think what else to say. I like the way that, like, the triads and all that, they weren't actually the main villain. They were just there to propel the story, because fuck the Chinese. That's all I really have to say. Beginning review, Judgment. I'm treating this game kind of differently than I did with the other spin-offs, because, one, besides Black Panther, it is the only spin-off that doesn't have Kiryu, or really anyone from the Yakuza games, which is great. And also, too, it's the first post-Yakuza 6 game, so it's like, what has happened since Kiryu's death, in air quotes. And it's really nice to see. Something I do have to complain about is the fact that the shit that they changed, while I understand why they changed it, it looks stupid. Like, the map looks terrible, the layout of it and the colors and all. And then with the drone, I realized, holy shit, this reminds me of Watch Dogs 2. I really hope they weren't inspired by Watch Dogs 2, because I don't like that game. I don't think it's good. I think Watch Dogs 1 is an extremely underrated game. But anyway. I like Yagami. I think he's a really good character. It's so great to hear English voices. I don't like the fact that they got Matt Mercer to voice a role. I don't know who he's voicing, but I know that he's voicing someone. I know it's not their fault. They couldn't have known that they were going to get him to do Like a Dragon, but still, I don't like the fact that they got him doing whoever the fuck is doing a Judgment and also Majima. Uh, Friendships are back, which it was something that I didn't really. I tried to do it at the start of Vision, but then I realized this is fucking terrible, so I stopped, and then I didn't really do it at all in Yakuza 0. But with this, they've improved it so much because, like, most of it, I've done 25 of them. Like, I've done half of them so far. And most of it is just, like, shop owners and restaurant owners. So it's just buy one thing and then they'll just get you to do some random shit that only takes like 30 seconds. So it's very quick to do all that stuff. So I'm glad about that. The side cases, even though it's different, like, to be honest, the friendships feel more like sub stories than the side cases do. And all that could just be because the side cases don't come into the game until chapter 2, which, yeah, it's still the start of the game, but it's just the fact that chapter 1 was so long. Like, the main story of chapter 1 alone is 3 hours long. Which, it's the longest chapter in any of the Yakuza games has been up to this point. And then you add on top of that you can do like a massive chunk of the friendships in chapter 1. And I'm on chapter 4 and there's so much stuff that like hasn't come in yet. So it's crazy. Really enjoying the game. I think Yakumi's it's just a TLDR, but I've just realized from mentioning not fan of Yakumi's combat. Paradise VR, I was waiting for that. I was excited for that. It looked cool. Playing it the first time, it was kind of cool, but got boring quickly. I'm not fucking with that. When I heard that there was going to be cats in the game, I panicked because I thought it was going to be like the Cat Cafe in Yakuza 6, which I was trying to do that at the start, but then it's very tedious, so I don't fuck with that. But it's fine with this. You're not doing anything like that. But why? Why would they have it so that there's cats everywhere like that? Like, I hate cats, so it just pisses me off. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it there.